Hello. Good day. This is a recording of a presentation that relates to the oldest house. If you're in the oldest house right now watching this, you are likely located in a safe zone. What do they call those? Shelters. Shelters. You're likely located in a shelter. If you're located in a shelter, I assume the oldest house is going through some sort of crisis at the moment. Since you probably have not much to do while you're sheltering in here, why don't you take some time and review this presentation? Come closer. Yeah. I can't really see if you've come closer or not. I'm assuming if you're still watching that you are interested. So, we are the Kingdom of Balance. We're part of the Balance Alliance. And we're presenting this both for our enjoyment and for your pleasure or your information, however way you want to take it. I've set up this workstation here, and I've only used technologies that are allowed in the oldest house. Otherwise, you wouldn't be even seeing this recording. So this television unit is, it may look different from a regular TV, but it has the properties of 3 different transmitters together. What you're watching now is live for us, but it is a recording for you. So I'm assuming this is after 2019 at the very least, because the timelines, that's how it's arranged. Usually we have a generally equal timeline here, so I think that'll make sense over time. Right. I am. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. If you're part of the oldest house, then you already know that there's many realities out there, and you're probably familiar with the concept of having multiple realities. So, why is that relevant? It's important because you, as a viewer sitting inside the oldest house, are not of the same reality as us. We are right now speaking across a dimension that's separate from yours. In our world, your world exists as in the form of stories and games. Games is an interesting format. It's an interesting medium where that's used to capture stories, because it not only allows a person to experience the linear sequence of events, but it also allows them to try out different possibilities, which I believe captures the essence of a story better than the linear sequence of events. Your world, the events in your world, some of them at least, exist as a video game called Control in our world. And it also interacts with several other games. I've actually put posters of it around your space there when I set up this terminal. If you take a look around a bit, there's the poster of, there's 4 of them in the background, and there's one on the desk. Also on the desk, if you look to your left, yeah, I think that's the right way. There's a folder on there, and this is the only piece of communication tool we have, even though it's outside of this recording, even though it is one way. As an example, let's if you pull it up, let's assume you're opening it up. It's that logo is my symbol here. So if you go through the document, you'll find that it's, well, if you're just starting out, it's going to be blank. But over time, my community and I will fill this document with information, analyzing what we learned about the oldest house and the events that we see through our game. I will also be playing the game itself. So over time, you'll get to also experience what we see here. So that's our starting point. If you are sheltering for a long time, make sure you have all your safety equipments on, all your anything you need to keep yourself safe from whatever threat is.
That the intercom is on and that
All the doors are locked. Everything is, you're following all the rules basically. I hope our transmitter doesn't impact or interfere with the rules of the oldest house. It shouldn't, because I made sure to only use LCDs and old technology old enough to exist there. So let's start. I'd like to start with the first thing we want to present is the blog called House of Dreams. Let's take a closer look. Okay. So, let me just bring it up. Is it visible? Yeah, it is visible. Okay. Okay, the recording is going well so far. Okay, so this blog here, it was written in 2012, February 22nd. That's when it started. Sorry, we lost connection for a bit, but we're back now. Our community is keeping us informed of all the technical issues. Even in a single reality, it is very hard to do these transmissions, and going across the reality barrier just makes it much worse. Are you ready to join? Okay, so I'm going to activate our other analyst here. Okay, in the meantime, I can start reading the blog. This House of Dreams, not just House of Dreams, but this House of Dreams. Let's take a look at this picture here. It looks pretty crappy to me. There's rust in this corner. I don't know if these pipes are made properly, but I don't know much about plumbing. That's not my area of expertise, so I can't tell you, but I think that looks pretty messed up. What she said is the introduction post. I fulfilled my lifelong dream and bought an old house. This blog will follow the process as I renovate the house into the house of my dreams. It's going to be an exciting adventure. Welcome aboard. Sounds exciting. I mean, many of us don't get to buy houses anymore. Majority of us don't have enough income in this world to buy houses. So living through other people's dreams it's kind of nice. All right, let's check out the next one. Tricky transdimensional issues. One of our members have mentioned. Yeah, I agree.
Instability in the old house are normal, and everyone should keep calm and simply refer to the board for all of the different instructions as to what to do next.
We don't have to.
Shell Smiley is in charge of the information board and will let know the stream what is going on.
Our guest here is has a special interest in the oldest house, as do I. But we don't have to integrate ourselves that deeply. I'm sure the FBC can take care of that part.
Of course.
We don't even know if the person viewing is part of the FBC. They could be part of the old house.
Information board.
Yeah.
The chat.
It's still a bit unstable here. I'm noticing. It is really unstable here still, but we're going to see how much it can handle before it crashes again. Oh my god. We got a no, it's not a raid, it's a subscription. One of our members just gave us a tribute to be part of our alliance. Really appreciate it, thank you. Transmission is okay so far. Okay, good to know. Let's see. Let's go to the next post. Tour of the house. I took some photos today of the fun work ahead. As you can see, this will take a while, but I'm up for the challenge. Some of my friends think I'm crazy for doing this by myself. Yes, I'm talking about you, Andrea and Jen. I'm already browsing through wallpaper catalogs. Here are the photos. Okay, let's look at that. Look at the mess here that needs to be worked on. And it's a scary looking staircase. I would hesitate to live there. And I have no clue what this is. I don't know if the transmission to Rifna is a bit lagged. Delayed, so they might be not seeing exactly what I'm seeing. But the attic has blankets. That's a great question.
Yeah, it does look like an attic.
It's an attic with blankets.
Either an attic or
I wonder who was
basement.
sleeping there.
Like a cellar.
Oh, and exploring the nooks and crannies of my future home has unearthed some real treasures. The previous owner left all kinds of stuff in the attic. More on that next time. Let's see, next time. Now we're in the 2nd of March. Wow, time went fast. First night in the house. Ooh, we got more tributes today. Everyone's excited today. We are all excited today. Thank you, Jasmine.
Jasmine said that the music is a bit louder than you.
The music's a bit louder. Okay, we're gonna fix that. Is that better? I want to have a very good recording, so in spite of the lags. Thank you so much for the feedback and for keeping this transmission as good as possible. Okay.
And I'm the one going too far.
Oh my god, another tribute. This community is full of wonderful hearts of light and shadows. Thank you so much for your generosity.
So many sub people.
So who is doing the gifts? Shell Smiley's doing the gifts. I see. Yeah, she's super generous.
Yes.
Right. So now we're getting to an interesting part, I believe. First night in the house. I wonder if that means she hasn't been living here for a month.
She's just been going back and forth. Probably.
She was going back and forth. Interesting.
Because she's talking about doing a lot of fixing of the house.
Yeah, okay. First night in the house. I spent the night in my future home for the first time. It was almost like camping indoors. I had a sleeping bag. There was a weird flapping noise that kept me awake at night. I found a dead wren in the attic earlier. There is a broken window, and I imagine that there is a bird trapped somewhere inside the walls. Not a nice image to think about, sorry. Huh. It's getting creepier. Alright, what's next? We have 5th March. Toys in the attic. As I mentioned earlier, the previous owner left all kinds of stuff in the attic. Her daughter told me that they have no use for them. I can do what I want with them. Wow. Imagine having free stuff. I've always been fascinated by attics. As a child, I used to sneak up to my grandparents' attic to explore. It always felt like a magical, mysterious place. Slightly scary, but not too much so. Filled with forgotten treasures waiting to be discovered. I felt the same way in the past few weeks, climbing up to my own attic. Here are some photos. Like, look at that. There's a cushion, there's a box. There's this weird upside down lamp. What do they call these? Is this a chandelier? Is that a fancy chandelier?
Yeah. It's a light fixture.
And then we have whatever this is. Are we looking at a floor, or is this still the attic? It's still the attic, okay. Hey, there's a television. No, it's a monitor. It's an old monitor. It'll fit right in the oldest house. I love the pixelated pattern on this cushion. And someone left shoes here. And bottles. And whatever this thing is. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in these details. I find these fascinating. No thank you, says Shell Smiley. Looks like some step up to a loft place for the attic. Okay. Look at this sewing supply in that box. They look super clean. Makes you wonder, did they never use this thing? Like, the box is a sturdy box, I must say. This is probably the best thing they have in the attic. Probably what that was used to sew this pattern onto this cushion. Interesting. Wow. Okay, this is a good find. I must admit, this is a good find. These artwork are great. Jewelry. Okay, this is a lot of jewelry. A lot of pearl necklaces. Interesting. I don't know if there's any significance to this, but clearly someone left a lot of jewelry behind. It's unusual to leave jewelry behind, right? This amount of jewelry?
Well, depends how precious the jewelry is.
Did she say anything about it? The most wonderful discovery I've made so far is an old shoebox. An old shoebox filled with typewritten sheets of poems and black and white photographs. Photos and scans of those soon. Wow. Okay, interesting. Looking forward to seeing these photos. They look completely clean compared to the containers and surroundings. Exactly my thought. Alright, so March 11th, shoebox photos. There were 2 black and white photographs in the old shoebox I found from the attic. The box was among the things left behind by the previous owner. The photos depict a man getting into and out of a wetsuit, and a woman, I'm guessing his wife or girlfriend, helping him. He could be a diver. I'm not an expert, but I'd say the photos are from the 60s or 70s. Here's some weird part. Their faces are covered with black ink stains. It must have been done on purpose, as only the faces are covered. It is a delicious mystery. The whole shoebox is. I'm thrilled. I love mysteries like this. In addition to the photos, there are poems, 12 of them. I'll post them soon. Here are the scans of the photos. Okay, let's take a closer look. I'm gonna ask my community what do they think about these photos. And I'll ask my viewers in the oldest house too. What do you think about these photos? And the photos are perfectly clean except for those stains. Are those stains something that they spilled, or did they do it intentionally?
they're saying that your music is a bit loud compared to your voice again. And someone is saying that's creepy, and someone else is saying delicious mystery is pretty great cause it looked like splashes of chocolate.
I'm gonna check my audio to make sure that there's something off about the desktop audio. Okay, let me just check. My equipments are a little needing some help.
It's intentional. They did it intentionally. For board photos, it has to be intentional.
It has to be intentional.
Faces are targeted.
Clearly targeted. Now,
this picture with the person's shirt coming off, it looked like the stain was applied and blown around.
Blown around, huh?
We did art like this with straw and water.
Interesting. So, someone suggested this was done with straws and watercolor, or this could have been done with straws and watercolor. So, yeah, that I can see that. It's very much an ink thing. A lot better so far for music. Awesome. Okay, I think we turned it down enough. Now let's see. Okay, so being questioning and suspicious as I am drawn to the fact that these are photos of a diver, and they existed inside a shoebox. If you zoom out a bit from, let's move back from the TV for a second, and let's look at the poster we have on the top right corner. On the top right corner, we have a poster, an Alan Wake poster. And my community has watched me play Alan Wake, which is a game in our world. But if you are in the oldest house, there's a chance you've heard of Alan Wake as well, as part of an event. And the diver depicted on that poster, we know from playing the game who the diver is. So I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, that there's a diver, and we also know that Alan Wake has some association with the shoebox.
And a diver.
I'm not sure if I'm drawing conclusions where there is no pattern.
Is it a deep sea diving suit? Like, do we see like the
That's a good
the
question.
helmet or something in the corner of that picture?
Let's take a closer look into it again. Well, no, we don't see the helmet. No, that is true. We don't see the helmet.
What is at the bottom right of the picture?
Bottom right corner of the picture. I think that's a chair. Bottom right corner. I think that's a chair that he was sitting on before.
Oh, okay.
But it also, like, what we know what has happened in Alan Wake with the dark presence and I think the ink splatters look suspiciously like that, except
Yes.
in instead of going all over their bodies, just their face. So that is a bit of a difference. But yeah, that is an intriguing thing. Let's think about this for a bit. As we move forward. Shoebox Dream. This is 14th March. Okay, I'm freaking out just a bit here. I saw a really bizarre nightmare last night. I know this is supposed to be a blog about my new house, but the dream is related to that. And on the other hand, look at the name of the blog. This isn't what I meant when I came up with the name, but now it feels strangely appropriate, don't you think? In the dream, I heard the doorbell ring and went to open the door. There was a man there. He said he was a federal agent. He showed me his badge and all, just like the FBI agents do in the movies. Here comes the scary part. There was something wrong with his face. It was leaking inky smoke, so I couldn't see what he looked like. When I woke up, I realized that this image totally came from the ink-covered faces in the photos. Of course, see the previous post. The man asked me about the shoebox. He said that it contains top secret information and that I need to give it to him. I got scared that he'll put me in jail and went to get the shoebox, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I searched the whole house, but it was nowhere. And then I went to the bathroom to look for it and saw myself in the mirror. My face was covered with inky smoke as well, and that's when I woke up. When I think back about the dream, it didn't say FBI on his badge. It said AWE. This is the weirdest thing of all. Now I can't find the shoebox anywhere, and I've looked everywhere I can think of. I'm sure that it will turn up somewhere. There's so much junk lying around in the house in the moment, but kind of creepy in any case. I didn't get around to scanning the poems yet, but I did take photos of them, luckily. So that's starting to be interesting. Now she's having nightmares. Was the nightmares triggered by the contents of the shoebox, or was it something that would have happened inevitably because of the house? We don't know yet. All right, 25th March, so about 11 days later. You know, personally, if I had a dream like that, I probably wouldn't be able to sleep in that house anymore.
Well, I would probably take a break of a day or two.
Yeah. Okay, under the house. A couple of guys came to do some plumbing work on Friday. They had to get under the house to do that, and I discovered that there was a trapdoor that led to the crawl space underneath. It had been screwed shut, and it had to be opened. After they were done, I decided to go down there to explore. Armed with a flashlight and my iPhone for shots, I squeezed myself through the trapdoor. This is a very brave woman.
Yes.
It was cramped and claustrophobic. I'm amazed that the workmen were able to get any work done there. I'm tiny compared to them. I was mentally prepared for rats and dead cats or even something worse. But there was nothing out of the ordinary down there. Nothing out of the ordinary in the town of Ordinary, pun intended. Here are the photos.
Oh my god, she's in the town of Ordinary?
She lives in the town called Ordinary, apparently. A town called Ordinary. Can you be more obvious?
Okay.
Here are the photos. So, another pipe. This place is full of pipes.
Jasmine T say, I'd wait until I have friends or family over.
Or done it while the plumbers were there.
there.
I agree with that. This is a scary thing to do. There's not much down there, honestly. It's kind of empty from what I see. 25th March again. Oh, now she posted the poems. Now, I realize this is a big post, so I don't think I will be reading every poem today. But over time, once I do more transmissions, I will start to put a few poems in each. I will, however, read the overall by what she says here. I've been really busy and stressed at work lately, but in spite of the shoebox and its contents are never far from my thoughts. You might say that I'm getting a bit obsessed about them. I've been trying to find out who the poet is or the couple in the photos, but no luck. I asked the daughter of the previous owner about it. Her mother is in a nursing home and suffers from advanced Alzheimer's disease, so she wouldn't be able to help me. She was certain that no one in the family was a poet, and she doubted that the people in the photos were anyone from her family. She told me that her mom liked to buy stuff from yard sales, and her guess is that the shoebox was something her mom had picked up from one of those. I've tried to find the shoebox after it went missing, but I can't find it. So I'm so glad I took photos of the poems before I lost them. Here they are. Well, there's quite a bit, so I'm not going to read all of it. Let's just read the first one for today. Oh, wow. They have handwritten notes on it too. Is it showing up in the transmission? I see it is. Okay. I'm gonna just read this one. Kept from sleep again last night by the sound of chimes. I sway so far below heaven, so high above hell. Frost creeps up the trunk of my spine. All is blackness through these holes of my eyes. Just the wind in my skull and the wings of her crows. The perch on the gallows, they have pecked me clean and made a chime from my bones.
That's
Oh,
very creepy.
That's morbid. It says, Bai's comment, a diver, not a hanged man? Think about it. Not sure what that implies. But the imagery in this poem, again, it reminds me, the crows reminds me of something we saw in Alan Wake. There was a lot of crows in that town of Bright Falls. I want to take a note about the fact that this takes place in the town of Ordinary.
Yes.
Because that will be... I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that would be relevant later. And I think we're gonna stop on this part of the post of this blog for now, because we come into a interesting junction here. So over time, I'll read more poems from here, but we're going to get to our main program now. One of our community member asked, I'm wondering why Hanged Man is being brought up. Is it a tarot card reference? That is a good point. It's something we should keep in mind. Maybe we should put this in our notes. I'll add the question section on our first page of the notes. And I'll add... What was the question?
Hangman.
Is the Hangman
tarot card.
a tarot card reading? Yeah. Tarot reference. Just a quick note. Let's just check if the document is working properly. Let's move back a bit, and if you check the document viewer, we can make sure it's there. Yes, it is there. The question is there. So over time, our community will add more questions here.
And hopefully answers.
And hopefully answers that we'll discover in our journey through this game. Okay. So that was our blog. Let's shift gears now and actually check out Control. In tarot, the Hanged Man can represent personal sacrifices. Interesting. Personal sacrifices. We should make a note of that. Personal sacrifice. Maybe that will be relevant later. Very well could be. They're so
Alan Wake,
cool.
the diver, has the same connotation.
Alan Wake and the diver?
The diver has self-sacrifice as a symbol in Alan Wake.
That's true. Yeah, the diver did do a...
So saying it's not a hangman, it's a diver. In the story of Alan Wake, they both have the same symbolism.
Okay, that's true. Do you have the link for the blog? I do have the link for the blog. It's gonna be in the credits section, but I can send it to you all when I'm able. Let me just grab it from... there it is. So our community is asking for the link to the blog, so here's the link. I will make the link available for the viewers as well, but I doubt, since we're in this not in the same reality, if they will have access to it. But then again, we never know. We can't even be sure if we can't be even sure if control takes place in our reality or not. There's no definite answer either way. I would request both our community and our viewers to keep an open mind about that, because it may as well be a game that represents some truths in our reality that they're trying to desensitize the public to before revealing it. This is something that's it's a technique that has been used to reduce panics among people, from what I know. When there's stuff that general public can't handle easily, people try to soften the blow by putting it in fiction first.
It make it more familiar.
All right, so let's dive into our game. Are you all ready for the game?
Yes.
How are the lags so far? We have been doing this for about half an hour.
It
or
looks
so.
pretty good, actually.
Okay, so it's reasonable right now?
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Here we go. Control. Now, one thing I would like to point out with both the games from this company, interestingly, they all have a core flaw that I've noticed in every single game they've made, which is their voices in their dialogues are very quiet compared to the sound. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but we're gonna try to compensate.
By dropping the sound?
By adjusting the settings. Okay.
Yeah, so
let us know if the sound...
So yeah, you should put the music at like 50%.
I think 70, 60 is good for the music. Effects, I'm gonna lower it to 35. Based on my experience, that's the right balance. Like 40, close to 40. And dialogue should stay at 100. Okay. We're going to mute all copyrighted music for the sake of streaming and transmissions.
You do have subtitle on, right?
The interesting thing about copyright laws, something we should wonder about, their reach goes beyond a single reality.
Capitalism, as they're in everywhere.
If you wonder if two different realities have similar beliefs about a certain force like copyrights or capitalism, is that a bridge that can be used to cross over between those two realms?
Probably. You can send message through copyrighted material.
Yeah, and we are doing something like that right now. We are taking a fiction copyrighted thing and we are presenting it in a different reality. And this is like a one-way connection because they can't affect us, but we can affect them. I mean, they can always choose to stop watching and walk away. That is there within their free will. But as long as they choose to keep watching, we get to influence them. It is an interesting relationship we have with fiction. Okay, so one of our community members says, lag seems to have stopped. I haven't noticed any of it since the stream started. The note about introducing a concept in fiction so that when it happens in real life, it's a less shocking reminds me of how AI and robotics are becoming more and more intertwined in daily life. That is true. There was another case there's also a case of when you introduce a technology in a fiction and then people invent that a few years later. An example of that is the automatic doors from Star Trek.
Yeah, the sliding door from Star Trek actually exist in Star Trek before they exist in real life. And it is because they saw it in Star Trek that some engineers said, wait, we can do that. And they started finding different ways of doing it. The first way was with a pressure pad. So when you were standing on the pad, the doors were opening. And then other engineer went, oh, we have motion sensor. So they went with motion sensor and stuff like that. So they iterated, but the original idea of the sliding doors that pushed the engineer to more than just consider it, but make it true, came from Star Trek.
So interesting. It's one of the reasons we have our guest analyst here. They're very good at all these different connections. Atomic bomb was further developed by Einstein, but was inspired by sci-fi written prior, if I remember correctly. Huh.
There is quite a few cases. There's quite a few cases of technology that appeared in fiction and then inspired engineered and architect and scientists to actually seek out if that was possible.
It's it's a very interesting thing. It's and it's true, we also want a lot of Star Trek to become reality because they have a good system. There's a lot of fairness in the Star Trek universe that we wish to become part of our reality. NASA also placed their space launch area in a similar area. Sci-fi book writer had calculated a spaceship would be best to launch from. Is it an H.G. Wells novel? I'm not sure because I didn't read many of the old sci-fis. In any case, let's start.
The thing with sci-fi writer also, well, anyway, that was kind of the rule at the beginning of sci-fi. Now you have some sci-fi writers that are into that and some that are not, but when sci-fi started, the people that wrote sci-fi were science geek. They might not have been scientists themselves, but they had a special interest in some or many team of science. Some of them were like, oh, I'm all into astronomy, and the other one was all into chemistry or physics. So they were injecting a lot of that actual knowledge or actual theories that they had as non-professional scientists but still super passionate about science in their writing. And then it kind of became a way for them to share those theories, share those theses with other fans of science, that some of them actually picked them up and said, well, let's look if you're right or wrong. And they went with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now we're going to start Control. It's going to start with cutscenes, so we all need to pay a lot of attention. Okay, so let's see this. All right, adjust the brightness until the left icon is not visible. Okay. I thought there were 3 icons, but no. There's actually just... How is it looking on the transmission? I think that's good enough. That's close. Okay. So, subtitles, yes. We will definitely need it. There we go. Let's start. This spiral symbol, I believe it's significant. Inside the living room is red. Our transmission is impacting everywhere.
Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual. Can't be helped. You called me. So here I am. I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you. It's just that I get my hopes up. So many times it's led to nothing. I found nothing. It's like we live in a room, and there's a poster on the wall. We stare at it and we think that's the whole world. The room and the poster. The picture's something nice. A landscape, a famous person. Like in that movie, what is it called? The prison movie.
Shawshank Redemption.
The room's a cell, and the picture, it's different for each of us. It can be beautiful or terrible, but we're all transfixed. But it's all a lie. Something to distract us from the truth. They're lying to us. We're lying to ourselves. The room's not the world. The world is much bigger and much stranger. There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw. I'm here. Why did you bring me here? Hello?
Okay, pausing a bit. So, been told that the game is lagging a bit. Also, the game talking is very loud compared to me. That is okay. I want the game voice to be louder than me, so that part is okay. Sounds like Narnia or Oz. That is an interesting comparison. Narnia or Oz, yeah. I believe the movie she was just referring to is Shawshank Redemption, where the character gets a poster to hide the fact that he was digging his way out or something. So I think that's what it refers to. But the concept of pictures hiding a different world has been used many times. It is a symbolic thing that exists. Even if you even if we consider how we transitioned to get this device into the oldest house, we did go through a painting. So it's not yeah, it's a typical, it's a very common thing that's used, but not something that's often talked about. Isn't the spiral everything in the world? I forgot. There's a name for it. There is a spiral that represents a mathematical unification. I don't remember the details of it. But if you remember, let us fractals. Yes, fractals is definitely one of them. Yeah. The room is our reality, and the poster is the lie between our reality and the reality beyond that doesn't fit the rules of our own. That's a very good analysis from Fire. All right, let's continue. So she was led here, from what we understand, because
Anyone here?
someone called her there.
Yeah, I see it. But what is it? I can feel it. It resonates.
It resonates.
The things you show me, my friend, I forget. It's all in my head. There's no you, right?
She's obviously talking to someone who is not of a physical...
Where's everybody? I need someone to point me in the right direction.
Yeah, no one's at the reception. Let's admire this place for a second. If you look outside, this is a busy metropolitan city, obviously. People walking by. You know, just walking by. And there's this huge office, but there's no one inside. Isn't that interesting? There's something over there. Let's look at the desk. There's a red briefcase. There's a typewriter. And an oldish telephone, an oldish fan, an oldish lamp. Ashtrays. Ah, there's a mug with the same logo. Let's look at the logo. Oh, the coffee was spilled? Yeah, the coffee was spilled. Do you want to be back on the mic?
Sorry, I muted myself.
All right, so we have the Federal Bureau of Control. That's where we're at. United States of America, so it's in the U.S.
Investigado Imperium.
I don't know Latin,
Invenio?
but if anyone knows Latin, would anyone be interested to translate that?
Let me see. It really is just the first word that I don't know.
How did you get in with no one there? It is an interesting question. How did she manage to get in, and why can't she get out?
Investigato Imperium. Discover Research Control.
Ah, so
Discover,
this
research.
means discover, research, and control. Okay. Imperium is control. Interesting.
Yeah, Imperium is control.
All right, so we're exploring and we just found something. This is our first pickup. So in our menu, we have no weapons right now. We have no assets. We have no mission. But we just collected a correspondence. Let's read it. Federal Bureau of Control. Certain objects are not allowed inside the Bureau. Recent incidents have necessitated an issued reminder on prohibited materials. Unauthorized weapons, pagers, laptops, smartwatches, smartphones, smart gaming devices, anything smart. Number 2, pencils. Any objects considered iconic representations of an archetypical concept. For example, rubber ducks, ketchup bottles. All materials under Bureau investigation is to be brought in through the private entrances. If you see any lobby personnel in breach of these policies, please notify your supervisor immediately.
Okay, that is a weird list.
It is an odd list. Specifically why they separated the number 2 pencils from the other ones.
Yeah, that is one thing that is very weird.
As the viewer might know, there is absolutely no pencils at the desk in the terminal. At the terminal we set up, we intentionally left that out due to the policies. Also, the TV you're watching this in is not a smart TV. It is a very conventional TV. It's made with all the conventional technologies we could gather from old stuff. And it's important for you to believe that, because if you don't, you understand with the inter-reality dynamics, belief is a very significant thing. But that's not to say you should not question things you view or see, because reality is a balance between the things you believe and the facts you find out.
Wait, what is on the screen? What does it say on the screen? Confidential.
What does it say on the screen? It says internal lockdown in effect, building lockdown in effect. Multiple containment breaches detected. Multiple building shifts detected. Head of research override. HRA protocol activated. These people, they have a lot of smokes and coffees everywhere, I noticed.
Yeah. Someone said anything smart. Whoop! Check your IQ before you walk in.
That's why the smart is in quotation instead of actual smart. Imperium is Latin for control. It puts a whole new perspective on the intentionality of the imperialism and colonialism. That is a very excellent point. Excellent point by Jasmine. Number 2, pencils. Yeah, what? What indeed? Since this list is so specific, it makes me think an individual's connection to these things is somehow a risk or threat to this place organization. That is definitely part of it. What I find as I discover more is that it's not just about individual connection, it's also about collective ones. Okay, this door just opened up when I walked by. There's a flickering light inside. It's a bit suspicious, but it's coming from a TV, so maybe it's okay. Let me collect these things. There's some things here. Research and records.
It's
must
like
be
the trick of giving up waiting for the bus so that it will show up sooner. Yes, indeed, it is.
HRA. Yeah, what is HRA? We don't know yet what HRA represents. Caffeine and nicotine are helpful for focus, but also can raise cortisol, which can impair the prefrontal cortex and make folks more suggestible and less likely to have independent critical thought. Just on the whole, control theme in a very subtle way. That is a good point. It's something we should look out for.
Yeah, it's not surprising that they fed office worker coffee and cigarettes, like, and
That's
soldiers. True. Soldiers were actually given free cigarettes when they were joining the army for a
Expenditure summary.
long time.
Executive Sector Q2. Major. Staffing, surveillance, redacted. Data Center Initiative, construction, redacted. Minor. Office equipment, janitorial costs, redacted. Mold removal, HQ livability costs. For cost breakdown spreadsheet, see page 5, or a 5-year comparison chart, see page 9. Okay. Unfortunately, there's a lot of redacted stuff in this office. A lot of things are just confidential. I saw these are interesting. Aren't these letter tubes?
Yes,
Aren't
they
these
are.
tubes?
They're message tube.
Message tubes, right?
They're pneumatic message tube, which is super cool. Oh, the door closed.
What? The door closed?
Can you open it again?
Let me just grab this first.
This seal. I saw it a long time ago.
Oh.
I keep seeing it in my dreams.
So she's familiar with the Bureau, not just in her dreams, but she saw it in person sometime. Okay, door's open. Okay, so as long as I guess the green light is on, it's gonna be open.
Makes sense.
So there's definitely people who work here because there's photos of them, but they're not here. Okay, so this person, head of research, Dr. Casper Darling. He has a bow tie, which is interesting. Then this is our bureau at work. Okay, doesn't really mention the name of the person, and he's facing away from the camera.
Yeah, it's
And
a
then-
trick to make an anonymous worker, right?
I see. Director Zachariah Trench. So he's the head honcho here. He's the head person. I think we looked at all the pictures. I do
Yeah.
enjoy the running in this game. It's very fast.
Ooh, another door.
This looks like a bathroom. It is a bathroom.
That's okay. People leave message in bathroom. You remember that?
Very clean bathrooms. No graffitis or anything.
Yeah, well,
What's in
it's
here?
like a government office, so.
One thing I do appreciate personally is the fact that it's a gender neutral bathroom. It's welcome to anybody. I guess we are on top of the reception, so we're going this way.
Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them and they were hiding in plain sight.
They were hiding in plain sight and she was looking for them all her life. That's interesting. What do they have that she's looking for? Look at all these notices. Office rules of conduct. Speak in moderate volume. No personal calls. No food or drink around the bureau documents or in the copy room. No using photocopier for personal projects. Someone wrote a tiny note there that I can't read. Wear access badges at all times. No discussing confidential projects. The one to finish the coffee pot makes a new one. Standard stuff. I'm learning so much right now. Wonder if page 5 or 9 would reveal the redacted material. In my experience with this game, I've played the whole thing before. You never learn what those redacted things are unless you find another document where that item is not redacted.
Yes.
Have
The
grounding and
communication are
comfort
very
items on
controlled.
hand. Casper Darling reminds me of Peter Pan.
Yes.
Why is that? Why would Casper Darling be reminiscent of Peter Pan?
I think is general appearance.
The appearance, I guess. Okay, she's been looking for them for years. I wonder how she learned about them. Good question. These are very important questions. Oh, speaking of questions, I want to mention something to my community members that I forgot to mention. I have new...
For Don't Talk, the character is actually modeled from a live person. They take an actor and they exactly
Can
model
we
the character.
talk about the rewards first?
Yeah, sure.
So, I have added new rewards in our chat, in our channel. So everything that you see as red is related to control. So you can redeem all the red rewards and they have a lot of points. If you watch my streams for a long time, you'll have enough points, but they are meant to add to this stream, so add to the records. So you can redeem them to add your theories to the document, add questions to the document. You can request me to take photos using the photo mode of the game of specific locations. And we can also use that to potentially discuss future locations for our terminals, because we can't have all the transmissions in the same location all the time. People need to move around, right? So that's also something that's open. Love the symmetry. Hands can spread the mold. The mold, yeah. I am personally very afraid of molds, so I feel that apprehension. Wendy and her family's last name was Darling. I see the reference now. Thank you. Also, someone has a theory but not enough points. Let me know. Okay, so one of us have volunteered to do it for others too. You're creating an augmented reality.
Yes.
I guess that's what it's called when you reach
Yeah,
the
it's
reality barrier.
it's
Augmented reality. There's a name for it. Okay, is this a passage or is it like just
No, it's
one?
just a window.
Oh, just a one window. Okay, never mind then. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, there's two possibilities here. One is that Rifna was saying the characters are modeled after real people, and that is something that a lot of games are doing nowadays. But that means you can never know if something is actually based on reality, because
Yeah.
the people look real enough.
Yeah.
So
that's what
This person, she might actually be the character that she's playing. The actor might be the character she's playing. We'll never know unless they actually explicitly say it. There's no way to track it down. And something like this is happening in the middle of a big city. Which city? Maybe we'll learn about it, but there's so many buildings that look like this. How do you know which building? Right? So there's many ways, many reasons why we can never know if this is real or not. But I ask you to keep an open mind and to question if it can happen in reality, because that's because it could be plausible. Is that a copier? Huh.
It is a copier.
I find it very uncomfortable to walk in dark office buildings.
Yeah, dark office building are very creepy.
Yeah, there's a door. Is this a door?
No, that's not
a
a
window.
door. The door is on the other side of the room. Do you see it?
I
If
feel.
you look through,
Oh,
you see
okay.
there's
Yeah,
a
I see
door.
it. Yeah, I feel I'm being intentionally led in this direction here. Interesting.
Yeah, because there's no other way.
Mandela effect. Mandela
You
effect.
should
I'm not
go in
familiar
there.
with that. Huh, more
There's
documents.
stuff.
Oh, look at this desk. I love this desk.
I love the recorder.
Those old recorders, they're really interesting. All these tapes. Old TVs.
Security
Alright.
order.
Security order.
A lot of redaction here.
Okay. Attention all blanks. Blank a shark in his blank. Although secure blank, permission to blank, following basic protocol blank, shoot to kill blank. Good luck. That doesn't give us very much information. There's
No.
something about a shark. There's
Someone
a shark.
has a shark in something. Even though it's secure, he probably doesn't have permission.
Okay. Well then, there's not much going on there. Is there anything on this board that we can read? Confidential and a lot of writing that we can't read.
No, it's too small.
Right.
Maybe
That's too
with
bad.
the camera, but
Now, which way was I coming from?
you were coming from that way.
I was coming from there, so I need to go this way. I see a red light there. It's very uncomfortable. It's a very dark room. Even though I'm uncomfortable, I really want to read this document, so I'm gonna go in. Okay, this is not redacted at all.
Woo!
Hello, as you all should know by now, the R4 reports are due by the end of the week. We're still waiting for them from a number of people. If you need an extension, please request form R4.E from your supervisor. If you think you're exempt from filing an R4, then you'll need to get written permission from your department chief saying so. Remember, R4s are mandatory under Section 75.2 of the Employee Manual. Your R4 requires interdepartmental claims, then please contact the appropriate department head, Dr. Darling, Miss Marshall, Mr. Salvador, and Mr. Kirkland, as needed. They'll be busy on Thursday in their annual policy review, so please schedule accordingly. This place is very, very bureaucratic.
It is.
Very extremely.
There's someone singing.
I hear something.
Yeah, there's someone singing. They're
Look,
probably-
sounds like talking to me. Maybe it is singing. I'll turn it up a bit. Singing.
See, singing.
Singing. Okay. Someone who has cleaned really big office buildings at night. I can feel the creepiness here as well, as if I'm personally there. Looks like ration packets in the vending machine. It did look like chips, yes. Very strange for all snacks in a vending machine to be in black and white. Never seen that
They
before.
only have one kind of snack.
It is interesting.
The one
I never
approved by
thought about that.
control. There's someone
Let's
singing.
follow the voice.
Hello?
Oh, it's this way.
Okay, well,
me
then
just-
go the other way.
I always try to be thorough and get everything else first. There doesn't seem to be anything here.
See, instead of... Oh, there's someone there.
A janitor. Sweet, sweet democracy. No singing in the dark. Grab a chair as a weapon. Not colorful to catch eye. Okay. Can I grab a chair? That's a good suggestion.
I don't think you can now.
I'm pressing all the buttons. I don't think that's an option. I guess we'll have to talk to the
There's
janitor.
a picture there. That's pretty cool.
That's the director. Director Trench. Zakaria Trench.
Okay.
You know what? Generally, I trust janitors. Just saying it there. Like, janitors are generally trustworthy from my perspective.
Yeah, or they're the best
Hey,
disguise for
excuse me.
It's not responding.
Yeah, well, he's probably listening to some music.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, the janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, you are no helvet. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, you halot.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Better than somebody with no face at all. Think about it. No
I
face.
want to point out something here. What she said is something she said in her head. And he responded with better than no face at all. Which kind of gives the impression he read her mind. Is that, am I just seeing too much into this? She did just speak to herself in her head, right? She didn't say it out loud. Right?
No, she didn't say it out loud. She was thinking.
Yeah.
She was like, I had enough loner night job to blah blah blah. That was all inner speech.
Yeah, that was Mr. Back to the Portrait. I don't know. I really like him. I got a very good impression of him. And she seems to like him too. He seems like a very mellow person. He's clearly English is not his first language, like the way he's talking.
It's also funny that he said that if they don't hire her, it's gonna be the axe behind the sauna.
What does that mean? What does that expression mean?
That they should get chopped.
So
He's gonna be angry.
He's gonna be angry if they don't hire her. Okay.
Because there's enough work for a lot.
Clearly he's used to cleaning in the dark.
Yeah.
Someone with a no... that's a good point. He is laughing about his own picture. Yeah. You can if you use dark water. We have a community member who makes a lot of interesting jokes. Mm-hmm. You can clean in the dark if you use dark water.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I know what you're thinking. If there's an axe murderer around, that's him.
She's still talking to the whatever person in her head. Now, as a plural system, I will never judge anyone who has people living in their heads. So, I don't think she's, crazy or anything like that.
Well, if you work alone at night,
And even if she was, it's
company.
okay. Yeah, and even if she was, it's okay because mental illnesses are a very common thing in this world. And we all need people that, even if they're not physically there, we may still benefit from their company. As
Did
opposed
you
to
just
what
go back to the beginning?
Hollywood says.
No, you're in another hall. Okay.
This hallway looks very similar, but it's different.
Yeah, it is different.
Unless we just... No?
That's a new washroom.
That's not the same bathroom, is it?
No.
Unless we did a circle. This is the same place.
Oh my god, how did you go
How
around?
did that happen? Let me just backtrack a bit. Do we have a map? We don't have a map.
That's impossible. The
If we go back here, we're turning around. Maybe
and you're heading in a wall.
And we're in a wall. Where's the door? This is the vending machine. Where's the door? Okay. I don't remember this aspect of the game.
That is so funny. There was a door.
We did make a circle, right? There was
You
a
did
door.
The door moved.
Okay, that is, I guess that's not unusual. So, our first mission, welcome to the oldest house. Proceed deeper into the bureau. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna go a bit faster now that we got some basic introduction. Now, he said the elevator is here, right?
It wasn't there before.
It wasn't. Oh, right. That was just a wall.
That was his portrait.
Oh, that was his portrait. Right. Right. When we came up, we saw Dr. Darling. Then we saw his portrait. And then we saw this. So that means his portrait became the elevator. And his janitor stuff is inside. Ah, I've met some incredibly insightful and well-educated schizophrenics as well. Not to mention we're also multiple-minded. Yes, that's what I was saying. Like the many voices, the many minds thing takes many forms as well, right? Look at the portraits again, maybe. Good point. Yeah, you caught exactly what we needed to do. I used to work at a desk job from 2 to 10 p.m. A lot of people assumed I worked 9 to 5 and was working absurdly long day. One time I was asked, "Don't you get bored at night?" And I replied, "Oh no, I have the voices to keep me company." That made a couple of worried heads turn. They should be worried, I mean, in the sense that it's good that you freak them out, because invasive questions like that should be...
Make them question reality.
Yeah, people should not be so invasive.
The cell and the poster.
So this is the whole...
I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help?
Cutscene. Starring Courtney Hope. Lead producer Juha something. Jan, I can't read them fast enough.
Is there?
We're in the intro credits. So many symbols to look at.
Really fun.
Really cool looking. That was a good point about the poster. And thank you, Shell Smiley, for gifting another sub. Oh, what's going on here?
Everything's
Look at that.
turning red. Ink.
Things are working. Okay, I'm feeling shivers a bit. This was so beautifully done.
That was very cool.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
Okay, so now we know her motive. She's looking for her brother who was kidnapped by this bureau.
17 years.
And no one believed her because she saw the bureau, but no one else believed that the bureau existed or something, or that they took him. So now she finally found them, and this place is empty. Okay, so Trench is still... That's Trench's photo. I guess now we should be looking at every photo because any of them could change into a doorway. What is that?
That's the building.
Is that the building from the outside? Let me just... Oldest house. I can't read that.
Discovery August.
Discovery
4th,
August 1864. Ah, I see. 1864. Alright, so I'm gonna start making some notes because we're gonna start to get into interesting parts now. So I'm gonna write down the story so far. So the first thing that happened was welcome to the oldest house, and I will say Jesse arrives in the oldest house. I'm guessing this is this place. To look for her brother. Yeah, there we go. That's a good summary. All these notes will appear
We're starting from the top.
in your documents, so that we can keep track of everything together. I hear sirens.
It's the same thing.
Same problems. Approved terminology reminder. Reminder regarding drafting any public-facing material. While penning any notifications of death related to the Willow AWE, please adhere to the following guidelines. Words, phrase to use. In the service of his/her country. Regret, proud, pride will be remembered. Words, phrases to avoid. Alaska, scissors, blood, bleed, loss, apologies, sorry. Huh. So, it's related to a specific person or event. It sounds a lot
Might be
like
many people.
the prohibited items thing. These are prohibited words. The words are very random. We have to know about the event to know what this means.
No, that sound like something happened with scissors in Alaska. And you shouldn't give that kind of details.
You're always welcome here, Dronin, so whatever you're saying about not having enough contribution is, I perceive that to be not true. Many people don't know about how many concentration camps the USA had, or how the foster care system
Did
really...
you read the shark stuff?
Shark might be able to swim in this space with all the floating and ink smear. What?
And the government never take children for no reason.
Yeah, they always do. Okay, what is this sound? Why is it... Wow, I'm
It's
knocking
the
things
alarm.
over. I knocked over the coffee maker. Let's knock over everything else. There we go. Not that anyone's here to stop me.
You can run on desk if you want.
I can run on the desk. I can run on couches. Like this couch here. I ran on that. No one was here to stop me. This door is red. Clearance level 1. I don't have clearance level 1. I have clearance level 0, apparently.
Actually,
Is
your
there-
clearance -5, but you know, you're gonna have to prove yourself.
We still have to do the interview.
As an assistant janitor, you are not even worthy of cleaning their cigarette butts.
Well, the thing is, janitors have access to every room in a building,
Yeah,
right?
but you're just an assistant janitor.
Yeah, so we're starting lower.
Yes. You're starting at a point where even bringing them coffee is too high of a task.
Do not disturb. Barbara, I am not to be disturbed. Cancel all my appointments for the day, for the rest of the week. I can't trust them, Barbara, not a single one. That's the director, Trench. The director feels he cannot trust a single person in the bureau. That is not a good sign. Such a trip. I'm so glad I'm not playing it myself alone. I am happy to help anyone who wants me to lead them through this game. I'm happy to help. This game is one of my special interests, and yeah, it's fantastic. Most people don't realize there are still a lot of concentration camps. We have them in Canada too. Canada isn't totally clean. Both USA and the Canada. There's a lot of discussions going on about foster care systems and oppression. So I'm gonna let them have that discussion, but I won't read them. What just happened? We just heard a noise, a loud noise. And she even freaked out from it. It's not just an ambience
I
game
think it's the
music.
door that slammed.
No, it says investigate the noise in the director's office. Is this the director's office?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's the assistant of the director who's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Shit. You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really?
Okay, so we see that spiral. That spiral seems to be the one that she's talking to. And the spiral right now is pointing to the weapon that was used to shoot the director. Who shot the director? Do we even see them? This thing is suspicious. It's a golden door of some sort. Look at the amount of books he has.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any document interesting enough.
No.
There's blood all over the place, though.
Something's outside. Was coming here a mistake?
Something's trying to come through the door.
Yeah, you better take the gun.
Let's take the gun. We are broadcasting from the Pyramid Other. Only the director can wield. The gun, sword, intentionally left blank. Your application will be processed.
And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
This is your ritual challenge. You must choose to be the chosen one.
Look at this place. Where am I?
Now, that's a lot to take in all at once. So I will try to unpack it a little bit. And it's okay, so first I should mention the foster care discussion is very valid. And I just meant that I'm not going to read every line on stream, on the transmission, because, but I will summarize that there is the foster care system is very oppressive, and a lot of, that's what I read, and a lot of people, there's lots of forms of different concentration camps where many children are taken as well. So big agencies kidnapping children is not out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary, that's not a reference to the blog that I was, but that might be funnier later. We can't hear you or Lily over the volume. Oh, sorry about that. It's just those few voices, the muffled voices, I have to read them as well. So, but you can see the subtitles too. They talk in a very weird way. The scene is reinforcing MK Ultra CIA
MK
experiments
Ultra.
and their subsequent theories. Interesting. Do you want to share a bit more about that? That's a lot. Yeah. So
Yeah, no, we're not supposed to talk while the voice are there, and
Yeah.
they're supposed to be the focus because those scenes are very important.
okay. All right. So so three things we looked at. One is she picked up the weapon that the director was murdered with, and there's some enemies coming into the room. And when she picked up the weapon got automatically pointed to her head.
And did you notice that the weapon was talking? Like
I
there
didn't
was a
see that.
movement.
I
Like
did not see
like
that.
the weapon was talking.
I did not see that part.
That
Huh,
was interesting.
So that presentation by Dr. Darling about objects of power, I believe it was referring to the gun itself.
Yeah.
So the gun is one of the objects of power, not necessarily the only one. But that's interesting. Objects of power, something we should note. I'm going to write down as a question in our first page here.
He also says something very
What
interesting.
is
He
an
say
object
he
of power?
he talks about winning at the Russian roulette.
Huh.
So if you pick the weapon, you're playing Russian roulette.
So you might
You will
die or may
either
not.
live or die. But if you live, you're the director.
Huh. And this kind of also relates to an interview that the janitor was talking about, because what the muffled voices said was that, you know, this is like something about an interview, right? Something about a qualification
challenge,
right? Yeah. And there was something else that Dr. Darling mentioned, a prime candidate program. I'm going to just mention that. Program. I'm going to make a note of that. What is the prime candidate program? We hear it, but we don't know what it is yet. All right, let's get back to the game. We are now in a
Weird space.
very weird space. We're no longer in the director's office. But the instruction says follow the board's instructions to complete the astral plane challenge. So that would imply that we are in the astral plane. I have to keep adjusting the volume from high when you're talking too low. Okay, so
maybe
in the
the
40s
game
to
is
70s, the CIA had a program investigating mind control programming in individuals. This affected hospitals, universities, foster care, and homeless in particular. It was found you can traumatize folks to create trauma responses that function as mind control, and that you could create plurals multiples intentionally. Wow, that is heavy. I didn't know that they were trying to weaponize trauma. It was part of the Russian-US Cold War, in which they also explore mind control and psychic phenomena, as well as space race and nuclear weaponry. I see. Polaroid, bubblegum? All none of the above. Those are the concepts, tattoos we see in your minds. The service weapon, it has many forms, like the house prison you occupy. House/prison. Interesting. The board, that pyramid thing or whatever, it's talking to her, calls the house a prison. Like it's an alternate prison, like, because they're talking in a different language. They're talking in conceptual language that is being translated to words in her head. It's like some words have multiple meanings. So house and prison have the same meaning. It's the same word, same concept in this context. But it was part of the, yeah.
Okay, so just to say something about the brainwashing thing, that's where, you know, the novel version of, you know, those sleeper agents that can be activated by keywords, that is literally a form of plurality that they are representing that way. It's just it's the type of plurality that they were talking about, creating through trauma.
Intentionally, yeah. Okay, so there's a enemy or something there. I can do melee attacks now. Okay. They look pretty creepy.
They are.
Okay. Was that sound loud? Oh hey, there's the weapon. The weapon we picked up, but this is like an astral equivalent of that weapon?
The same gun.
Yeah, it seems like it. Control the gun house.
Okay.
Interesting
Now I have a gun.
that they said if you that control the gun/house Which kind of implies that if you control the gun, you control the house.
Zenity say that the game is just screaming at them, so maybe your sound is too high for the game.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it down a bit. I remember my mom telling me about how LSD was introduced to communities and scholars as a mind control device as well. We turned down cause I can't stand to keep adjusting. Let me just look at the sound again. Maybe it changed. Okay, I'm gonna turn down effects even more to 30.
Yeah,
and music
but
to
your
50.
your voices are also too loud, so
Okay. Well, I adjusted the volume on the transmission itself, so I think that should do it.
okay.
Let me know if it starts to get loud again. Okay, so I can fire the weapon now. Should be much lower now. Yeah, not a problem. I want the transmission to be comfortable for everybody. I am not very good at targeting apparently today. Destroy the copies targets. Earn become the something. They're talking really fast. Okay. Let's not fall off the edge because that would be bad.
Yeah, no, it's like the energy of the gun. Which is
They
pretty
are very,
interesting.
very powerful.
You don't have any ammo.
Can I do melee attacks instead?
You can.
Okay, here we go.
They're pretty powerful.
Oh. Oh, they're shooting now too.
There's another one there.
Alright. I think we got everyone. Enemies drop health elements when damaged. Collect. What is that?
I think it's
That's
the
a
out.
portal of some sort, I think.
Yeah.
What about this side? I thought we're going here. Apparently not.
Apparently you finished.
We wield the gun, you. The board appoints you. Congratulations, director.
Something's coming. This threat. An attack. Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here.
She feels comfortable.
Things have quieted down outside. Is it safe to go?
She feels comfortable in a space like this where a gun talks to her, an upside down pyramid talks to her, as if she was like meant to be here.
Well, I think that if you had a really weird experience 17 years ago and you spent your whole life being told that you all imagine things and that nothing that you believe is true, you'd be actually pretty happy to know to be in a place where actually things are real.
Yeah. I also feel very comfortable in weirdness. It's one of the things I've felt all my life. For a second, I thought the half circle indicated all the ammo you have for the entire level. Oh, that would be very terrible. Yeah, the volume's much better. Is it an Illuminati reference? I think Illuminati has a upright triangle, not an upside down triangle.
Yeah, it's probably an Illuminati reference, but they put it upside down.
One thing I find interesting in that last quotation where they said, we wield the gun, you. So it almost implies that you wield the gun and we wield you. Like the board is wielding her somehow.
Yeah, it's like they're
Well,
saying both sentences at the
That
same
was
time.
that came right in the face here. Okay, if you look closely, there's floating bodies in the air. I don't know about the viewers from the oldest house, if they're used to things like this by now, but people on the outside, they can just freak out completely if they see something like this. Oh, I like how you put together the you, we, will, you, bit. Yeah, scary. Well, I have inside knowledge about this game a bit more than some of the others watching, but
we also spend a lot of time
analyzing things. So
things.
we're like noticing things now that are yeah. Okay, let's see what happens.
What is that? You can't let this happen. 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 You stopped it. You. Oh, thank you. That was horror.
Okay, the redness is gone.
Get the fuck away!
The redness
Do you see
tried to
the
invade
redness
her.
is inside them now? And do you see
Yeah.
how their heads are twitching? It's really creepy. Okay. Yeah, there was some intense violation vibes there. Yeah. So I would like to point out this is an example of your headmate protecting you from an outside threat. Clearly,
Totally is.
clearly
Yes.
the spiral entity that she's talking to protected her from whatever that thing was, but clearly I guess those were people who were affected by that red mist thing. They were not protected like she was.
Here's an interesting question. Is the red the mold?
You want? Would you like me to add that to the document? Is the red thing the mold?
Yeah, that can be interesting. We don't have the answer yet.
Okay, I'll do that.
That's a question from
Is the red
one
mist
of the community.
mold? Is the red mist the mold? Sure. It's added. Let's check if the document's getting actually updated properly. If we look at it now, yeah, we have all the questions, I think. I hope you checked.
There's a delay for me. So.
Twitchy and red. Wait, is the red the mold? Yeah. Is the entity she speaks with also protecting her from befalling the same fate as the others? That is a good question. Would you like me to add that to the document?
I think it is a good question to add. It seemed to have protected her right now. It pushed it out, right? But do we know how much she's gonna be protected? We're gonna see. We're gonna have to need to answer that question, right?
Okay, I added the question. Maybe I should slow down adding questions because
Well, we can make them disappear as we go.
that's true. We can delete the questions that have been resolved. So it sounds like what we should be afraid of is red, not darkness in this game. We don't know if those red people... Well, hold on a second. That's
What?
her.
Her portrait is... It's not even the same clothes.
No, she's wearing different clothes and she's posing as for a photo shoot.
She looked
This
like
portrait wasn't
an
there.
administrator.
Last time we were here, it was Trench's photo there, right?
I think so, yeah.
What about this room? Is this how... I
Anthony
don't...
on the-
Oh,
on the
there's she
wall, see?
again. Yeah, she's in both of them.
She's the director now. Yeah.
And she still doesn't have access in spite of being a director.
Yeah, she's still an assistant janitor.
The red reminds me of the black stuff on Mimics. The Typhoon is pretty... in Prey, the game. I don't think I played that game, but I've seen bits of it, I think. Okay, here's the thing again. Oh, her photo's here too.
Her photos everywhere.
So all the photos got updated with her picture. Ah, there's another one. It's a different picture. See?
Is that what's
It says director
tested and it's her name.
Jesse Faden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. It's official. The house recognizes her as a director.
They
What was
did all
that?
the painting and everything.
They redecorated instantly. Well, in reality, presidents don't have access to everything in the White House or CIA and other secret agencies, so it's not surprising she's a director but doesn't have access to everything either. No, she needs to be a janitor to access everything. She's just a janitor's assistant. If you think about it, if the director is supposed to be the janitor's assistant, that means the janitor has a higher ranking.
Yes.
Which, in fairness, I would be totally happy to work in an organization where the janitor is above the CEO. The janitor works way harder than the CEO does. And should earn...
The hotline. Secure line of communication. Guidance. Reach the hotline.
The hotline, says the dead man. Okay.
Okay. What was that? Let's just... Oh, we got a new thing here. Director Trench's photograph. So much is expected from the director, the responsibility, the privilege. Okay. So that was the previous director. The service weapon. We just got this? OOP1KE. So it's the first object of power in their
I guess.
sequence. Containment procedure. No unique procedures required. The object's form is variable. When bound, the object allows para-utilitarians to blank. This object must only be bound by individuals seeking the role of blank. I'm guessing that means director.
Yeah.
The object will determine whether blank, so whether they are qualified. If rejected, the applicant is terminated. This process is dictated by the blank, although their criteria is unknown. By the board, I'm guessing by the
Yeah.
board. The object was discovered inside the oldest house, in the room that is now used as the director's office. So it existed in the house prior to the director's office. The popular hypothesis blank, many forms throughout history. The popular hypothesis is, I'm guessing, that it took many forms throughout history. Blank, comma, Mjolnir. Hey, Mjolnir is Thor's hammer, right? Mm-hmm. Excalibur is King Arthur's sword. Varunastra. I know, that sounds familiar. Varunastra. That's Sanskrit. I don't know what Varun means, but Astra means weapon. So I think it's an ancient Sanskrit weapon. All weapons that blank of their wielders, that are bound to their wielders,
Probably.
that are exclusive to their wielders, I don't know, protective of their wielders. If object of power are the convergence of forces based on the collective subconscious, then this may be the original manifestation of that event. If this is the case, blank, see Dr. Darling's presentation 11.1. We might be able to see the presentation. But that's interesting. The convergence of forces based on the collective subconscious. Now, the collective subconscious, if anyone's interested, is something that was introduced in psychology by Carl Jung. I'm a big fan of the concepts by Carl Jung, even though I didn't study it very deeply. But collective unconscious it's like your unconscious mind, but it's like a collective version of it, that it's built up of the unconscious associations.
It's a cultural
cultural, but going beyond that, because they've done experiments on with observations with monkeys, where they have monkeys that have never met each other still learn things that was taught to one group. The other group also learned the same things without ever meeting the first group. There are ways. It's an idea that collectively there's a collective knowledge bank that humanity has, that the symbolism for those knowledge show up in all different cultures in different parts of the world at the same time, around the same time, without them ever meeting each other. Because
they also see that, archaeologists also see that into inventions, where certain inventions have appeared in more than one place on Earth, while there was absolutely no chance of communication between the two culture.
So our community has provided a bit more info. In reality, President Oka, we read that, can confirm as someone who's been a janitor in multiple buildings, banks, lawyers, etc., you have to sign non-disclosure agreements, so you can't disclose any information, right? It's a powerful position, to be sure. The Varunastra is the water weapon, according to the Indian scriptures, incepted by Varun, god of hydrosphere. In stories, it is said to assume any weapon's shape, just like water. Upon usage, it brings large volume of water, which washes away large part of infantry. That sounds really useful. Water bending weapon, right? The Varunastra is a water weapon. Okay. Inspired by Varun, god of hydrospheres. Two people mentioned at the same. See, there's another synchronicity there. Two people came up with the same idea of presenting the information. I love the concept of the collective unconscious. Basically, you're connected to all other humans or planet unconsciously. Yep. Jungian psychology is my comfort psychology. Mine too. It's one. We know a plural system who reads a lot about Jung's psychology, and they say that the more they read about him, it sounds like he was plural, that his explorations into the inner world is very similar to the plural experience of inner world. We have to have a collective knowledge. There's no way there isn't. If you look at our history, when there wasn't travel, how do Egyptians and Mayans have similar things? Yeah. I don't know if there's any other explanation for it, but that is definitely one of the possibilities. Barbed wire and the understanding of using shadow in different areas of the world to confirm a globe rather than flat Earth are among things that were invented around the same time between peoples who had no contact with each other. Yeah, that's very useful information. Thank you for providing all that.
Another thing that they've noticed is that even if something is not invented at the same time, they've noticed that lost technology tend to reappear from no source. So they know now that certain technology were created by certain culture at certain point in time.
Yeah.
And that when those culture were completely destroyed, that knowledge was lost because there is no trace of that technology for a very long period of time after that culture disappear. But then suddenly that technology reappear again. For example, water pumps and stuff like that. Those things they've seen reappear after being lost. So it shows that there is a link to the social, to a consciousness, like a bank of information that they can re-tap into.
Yeah. So Jung's work on presence, ego, shadow, anima, animus really makes me think of the theory of structural dissociation, that everyone starts with multiple selves. It's through socialization and aging that it coalesces into a seemingly singular self. Yeah, that is a very good theory. I've heard about it. It seems to make sense. An interesting thing about Jung's archetypes. I can't really get into all the details right now, but I find that very interesting because a lot of our headmates, a lot of the people in our kingdom seem to subscribe to certain archetypes. They seem to have that kind of presentation. So I find that very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so there's a video, there's a presentation.
Yes. Oh, this is the document.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. A side note, remember to cover their connection to the astral plane as well. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it. Lose and you're, well, fired. Thank you. I'm Dr. Darling, Head of Research, Federal Bureau of Control.
He's very fascinated with that cube. What is that cube?
He was presenting an object of power.
Ah, okay.
We don't know what that cube do, but the gun is another example of it.
All right, I think we're caught up to the collectibles. Right. Okay, so I see red over there, so there's enemies there for sure. Which way did we come from? Oh, we have a map now. Oh, wow. Okay, so we need to find...
There's multiple way now.
It says proceed further into the Bureau, and this map is confusing.
You came from behind you.
Okay, so I didn't come from there though, no? I came from here.
Are you sure? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I came from here, so I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're exploring the rest of the Bureau, and he said something about hotline, but I don't think our objectives changed. Central Executor, that sounds like a good place to go. Run away. Okay.
There's someone
Maybe
in
one
the...
at a time. I see the floating bodies, but they're not attacking. But the ones on the ground are. That's one gone. Ah, there's more coming. The manifest with the red light.
There's another one behind
Oh. Okay, we can't just be running around like that.
you.
Not yet.
There's two more.
Later on we get more powers, which we don't have yet, so we have to rely on
Being strategic.
We'll come back for it once we kill that thing.
There's two more there.
Okay, what? Didn't hit a sing.
No ammo.
I think we got everyone.
Okay, now you can go get the documents.
All right. Right. The way he says the Bureau's DNA makes me think of this institution as a living thing or a manifestation of compartmentalized collective consciousness. Huh. Interesting point. Chooses director via object of power. Yeah. Well, the board does. The board chose the director. But how much of the board is actually... Like, what's the difference between the Bureau and the board? We don't know yet. Okay, where did we come from? Because I don't want to miss a document. We came from here. So I'll go on through the right. There's this door. Okay. And this one.
Office?
Okay. Agenda item for the next executive meeting. Rising cost of AW response. Update on mold eradication efforts. Upcoming annual salary review. New supplier of coffee filters to be found and vetted. Please come prepared. Okay. Not that important.
So do you know a good provider of coffee filter? Because you're the director now.
Yeah, we'll have
Those
to make those
questions-
decisions.
Yeah.
Another bathroom. Nothing here. Alright, there's a boardroom here. There, what is that? Is that a flower
Flowers
pot?
and wine
There is wine. Can I shoot the wine?
and cigarettes.
Oh wow, those are resilient bottles.
Yeah, look like
Very resilient. Huh.
Reminder, if you experience an unanticipated building shift, follow these simple steps. 1. Search the room for any altered items or objects of power. 2. Carry the altered item or object of power to the nearest safe room. 3. Wait for Bureau staff to find you and the object. If there are no altered items or objects of power in the vicinity, then reach your supervisor via the nearest intercom and await further instructions. Thank you for your attention.
So the safe room that they were talking about, the where I placed the terminal in the oldest house right now is in one of those safe rooms, which is why I was mentioning that if anyone's watching it in there, they should take all these precautions to make sure that they're protected.
you should go in that room. There's a door on the side, yeah. Just to make sure.
Okay, there's a floating person. Well, they're not hostile, so I'm not gonna do anything. There's computers, old computers. We checked that one already. Where are we on the map? Okay, so we're on the bottom section, the south section right now. We'll have to run if enemies show up, because this is not a good place to fight. There's a document here. Dinner reservations. Dinner reservation at 7 p.m. at Chez Ambre. Wife will meet you there, don't be late. Flowers are ready for you at the lobby reception. Remember, she is turning 46. Someone reminding someone about their wife's birthday and age. Wow. They're so busy that they can't remember these things. Their assistant has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I find that a bit disturbing.
That's a shelter.
It's a shelter. Max occupancy 6 person.
Well, someone came here, but it didn't save them.
Oh. Oh, there's a body here.
Yeah, they came here, but it didn't save them.
So clearly the shelter doesn't protect against this threat.
Mm-hmm.
So only that spiral entity can. Or something
So
similar
far.
to it. Correspondence, okay. For Marshall's eyes only. Marshall, we checked out the suspected AWE in Duluth. Wasn't anything, just like the house fire before this and the malfunctioning clothes dryer before that. My team is getting pretty sick of duds. We need to find better way to sort the fake AWEs from the real things. Or you need to rotate these field agents off for a bit. Anyway, we're on a route to Sherman Ranch. Next one on the list. Let's hope it's a little livelier there. Sincerely, Special Agent Keenum. Okay, I want to mention something here. When we were reading the House of Dreams, this House of Dreams, the dream that Samantha had was about agents with a badge called AWE. Is it a coincidence that
It's definitely not a coincidence.
yeah.
That's too on point.
Yeah, it's too specific.
Yeah, unless like two organizations decided to have the same initial and they're both government agency that look like the FBI. Nah, that's too much.
Yep. Okay. Glad some of us agree to that. Hey, this is a chest. We got some material. House memory. Oh, interesting name. So I want to point out something. We're inside a shelter. And there's a table here. This looks very similar to... Like, it should look very similar based if we look around.
There's even beds.
This is
a well-equipped shelter.
This is the kind of location where I put the first transmitter. So hopefully,
You're in one
whatever
of those
reason the viewers are in this room, in our equivalent room, that it's they were protected from the threat by the shelter. Okay, lots of bodies there. Is there any documents in here? I think we covered everything. We're just going back now.
Yeah, you went around.
All right, so this space is done. So now we're going further into here. This place is Central Execute. Okay. Oh. It's very red. Although she's not being affected now anymore.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
Okay, so the entity...
That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
Interesting. So the hiss is the enemy of the entity that she carries with her. So they're related, and they've been related probably for a while.
Well, we don't know if they're related. We know they're enemies.
But that's why they're related, right? I switched that on, but nothing seems to be happening. All right. Maybe we'll come back later.
There's something there.
There's a document here. She said that the sound of the hiss feels like it's trying to burrow in her head.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
interesting.
like a babble that you can't resist repeating.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know the relationship yet, yeah? So how to handle unscheduled visitors entering the lobby, which clearly no one did when we came in. Start with the following. Welcome to the Federal Bureau of Control, established in 1964 as part of an effort to strengthen government relations. We're proud to serve the United States and her people as we strive for transparency and excellence in all aspects of our esteemed nation's infrastructure. Transparency, huh? If they do not leave, then ask them these questions. Are you here to see someone? Are you from New York City or just visiting? How'd you find this place? So this place is located in New York City. If their answers are sufficiently harmless, explain that this is a secure federal office and they'll need to leave. If their answers seem blank, suspicious, escort them to a private room. There, perform the gunner psychological assessment. If their responses are within the acceptable range of deviance, see the provided scoring sheet, then blank immediately. Remember, there's no such thing as too suspicious. Yeah, transparency. Okay. I have resistance to a lot of different government control. Did we?
Reminder,
Oh,
if you
we read
experience
that. Oh, we heard that. So I have another
Shifts.
reward in our transmission that if any of the community member wants me to replay one of the videos or audios that that we collected, that's one of the rewards as well. There seems to be an unread asset
Yeah,
in.
she
Okay,
just
let
went
me.
through.
I'll get to it in a bit. Examination of paranatural topics. Urban legends. Urban legends are believed to affect the creation of altered materials, but can also dictate the characteristics of an altered world event. Urban legends are understood as the modern evolution of Jung's archetypes. We recognize certain blank, informed by our own blank, and popularized by our media. I'm guessing certain patterns informed by our own unconscious mind. We have additionally proven that urban legends can even be artificially blank in popular culture using blank, our Bureau-made anthology television program. So the Bureau have a TV program. It's similar to what we were talking about earlier with Star Trek and all that. That, you can create a program to desensitize people to something. Once the seeds are sown, human imagination exacerbates the details. Certain paranatural phenomena contains clear elements of popularized folklore, AWEs that can only occur on blank, a pair of scissors that consume human blank, through 2 punctures on the blank. Oh, vampires. Scissors that are vampires. These details, living in the minds of so many, have been given strength through belief. Urban legends are not just stories for children. They are paranatural realities waiting to happen. Okay, so you said there's something... Oh, there's an asset, right? Okay, so these assets are... Well, they seem to be materials of some sort. Maybe we need to do some crafting. Yeah. Young name drop. Okay, we did the right side.
Yeah,
We
you
did the
did.
left side too, right?
Yeah, that's the radio.
Okay, this side is kind of really like cramped over here.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's a red hole up there. We can't go up there yet, I guess.
Only when you're gonna float with the rest of the people.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Okay, I think we're gonna have to drop because the stairs are covered. Okay.
And of course, a bunch of enemies are gonna show up.
There you are. Another one. This one looks powerful. It's got a huge health. Need to kill the other ones first before they overwhelm me. One more shot. One more shot.
There's one there.
It's hard to see them in the red because... Okay. Another one. Oh, no.
Cover for stick cover.
Not a good cover. Not a good cover. Not a good cover. Run through. Oh my god, they're so powerful.
They're over there.
Okay. If I didn't have to reload... Where are you? Where are you?
He's there.
Okay.
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it.
Did I get a new... no. I got an asset. I didn't get a collectible. I was hoping those floaty videos will show up as actual videos. Okay, so this is the control point. We just turned it blue.
And see, the whole room is opening up. The cubes are disappearing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, so
Oh, now it really looked like an office.
Holy shit. You did it. We did it.
Hello? Can you hear
Huh,
me?
someone's talking to us.
Are you with us? With the Bureau? Are you still sane?
Where are they?
Oh, it's over there. I guess we're gonna start having conversations with people again.
Yeah, there's gonna be a living person.
Please, talk to me.
Just a second.
We saw you deal with the compromised agents.
Where are you going?
I'm just checking to see if there's any documents
No,
around.
no,
Okay,
but
never
you-
mind. Let's
Is it safe to come out?
yeah. Subliminal messaging was also part of the experiments. So the religion and TV programs overlap and usage to drop and incorporate certain ideas. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's true. I've heard of subliminal stuff. Friends with the Pope. I don't know if that Pope is a name or a title, but I guess we'll find out soon.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope. I'm Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie?
Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting.
I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
You're the new director.
So they all got informed somehow in such a short time.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah,
I found his body. And the gun.
Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
the service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown before you became the new director? How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet.
A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Pope. don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of.
Yes. I can try.
I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together.
So the spiral is the one who
Okay.
does the cleansing.
You with me? We did it before. Push the hiss out.
Okay, well, let's try it on this one. Apparently. It's the closest to the ground.
Yeah, he's close. She's going
Come on! It didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
Jesse, over here. We need to make a plan, Jesse.
Should I explore first? I don't know, we can explore later.
Yeah.
Let's get on with the story.
I can't cleanse them.
I saw. It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director. Jesse.
I'm gonna tell her why I'm here. I'll risk it.
Listen, the Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown,
Ordinary.
17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of an Altered World event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child? It was one of the big ones, and before my time. And very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us. Or a few of us. And Director Trench would know.
Trench, the ghost, or whatever he is, he mentioned something called the hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone, a direct line of communication between the director and the board. Maybe he can talk to you more clearly through that. I mean, Trench has years and years of experience. He might know how to destroy the hiss.
Where is the hotline?
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's the head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me the director. But that's not me. I'm not a director type. I'm not a leader. Why am I here? I think you already know. Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too. I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them. I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough. No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
Look, I know this is all new to you, so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know. There are no stupid questions. The door to the comms department is just outside the boardroom back in the lobby. They should have gotten it open by now. Follow the signs to the mailroom. You can get to the hotline containment chamber through there. Good luck, Jesse. See you back here once you have the hotline.
Thanks, Emily.
I'm not sure if that's a question. Yeah. You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to deal with the equipment. So I read the mechanic of the spiral being the viewer, and I put that as a question. Like, that's an interesting question. Like, is that true? We can explore that. Fun and story engagement mechanic. Interesting, yeah. The perspective does give it more plurality feels, sharing multiple identities in one brain kind of situation, with varying perspectives and memories. And abilities, apparently, in this case. Alright, sorry. Thank you for letting me know that my mic was muted. It's right in front of me, but I seem to miss it occasionally. So, I think we finished the first chapter.
Kinda, the intro, yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Unknown Caller is the next chapter.
What you could do is ask her more questions if you want to stretch it a bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
The hotline should be in the communications department.
Origin of the hiss.
Where did the hiss come from?
I'm not sure. You said the hiss was here when you entered. Did you see anything like that outside before you came in?
No, just inside.
The source is internal then. See, the oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the hiss to destroy it.
With you on that, Emily.
They're jaded about the world. That is interesting.
They don't like the world, okay?
You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
This building, the Bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place. You've seen it. It transcends its physical limits.
I've been to New York a few times. How didn't I notice this place?
It's an attribute of the building. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't like attention, so unless you're purposely trying to find it, you don't, which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to be noticed. And we need strong walls to make sure nothing gets out.
So without you, I never would have found the front door.
Okay. This trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me?
I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense, but an echo maybe. See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data. But that's just a hypothesis on my part. I'd need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah.
She's so blasé.
Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all, well, new to me.
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this?
Got it. Thanks.
She didn't get any of it, I'm pretty sure.
So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. I mean, each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
Okay, so that's all the questions.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
What are the portraits on the wall? Did you see those portraits?
Portraits on the wall.
See, up.
Up. Yeah.
Ancient director?
Like
Past director. It's all the directors.
yeah, most
or
like
whatever, like not necessarily directors, but you know.
maybe like
See, there's one with the cover. Is that Trench? There, that the last one. I think that it is. I think the one with the
blanket
a
on
blanket on top is yours.
top. Oh, interesting.
You're gonna be that one.
Interesting. Yeah, it's something to look into later. Oh, there's a chest. As we learn more about the previous directors, maybe we can examine that.
You can recheck the
What
wall.
if it's the board? What if the board is more than... what if the board is a collection of human spirits?
That's possible too.
I think they're all male. Okay, that's another interesting observation. Yeah. So yeah, the performance is really well done. They got like real people to act. So you know, we say act, but maybe they are just playing themselves. That's also an option. So I think this is about like, since we finished the first chapter and we struggle so much with this stream, I think this is a good time to probably
Take
stop
a break.
or even take a break. Yeah, that's a...
Well,
it's
it can be
10:30 right now.
Yeah, it can be a week break. I mean, it
That's
can
true.
be
It
time
could
to-
be a week-long break. We got some good notes. I
Let's
think.
revise those. Can
So,
you change your?
yeah, we're I'm looking at it on my side as well, as the viewers can look at it on their side. So we have, is the entity she speaks with also protecting her from befalling the same fate as the others? So far, it seems like it. It seems like the spiral is defending her.
That seemed to be the conclusion so far, because anyone else need to have that
Yeah.
that vesting.
Yeah, so they need the
except
HRA.
one thing that we gonna notice here: the janitor didn't have that vest.
Right. Except for the janitor. Everyone had to wear the HRAs. Yeah.
The janitor didn't have that vest. The director didn't have that vest. But I mean, he died, but he still
Yeah,
didn't.
so one of our community members is saying possibly that we can assume that, yes, that the spiral is protecting her and that the spiral might be an HRA. Let's add that concept in. I think that's interesting to
That is an
explore.
interesting concept. The spiral could be a form of HRA, yeah.
Yeah, let's explore that. I think that is good. We also have one last question, which was, is the player viewer the spiral entity?
Yeah, that's something that might not be answered right now.
So then we also have a summary of the story so far, which is we did Welcome to the Oldest House. Jessie arrives in the oldest house to look for her brother, but there's more that happens that I
Well-
haven't written yet. And then she gains the janitor. The
she
janitor points her to an interview with the board.
with the director.
With
Oh yeah,
board.
Board.
Board is the one who selected her.
She find the
Then she
find the director.
finds the director dead and the service, and picks up the service open.
Mm-hmm.
Then she gets appointed director by the board in astral plane.
Yeah.
And what was the last thing that happened after
Well, she
that?
just saved Pope.
She cleansed a control point with the spiral entity's help.
Yeah, and she saved Pope and the
Saved
other one.
Emily Pope. And there was one more thing. Now she needs to go for the. Now she
To find the hotline.
needs to find the hotline.
Through the communication sector.
I think that's a good summary.
Yeah.
Of what we did so far.
So the next game is go through the communication department to find the hotline.
Yeah. So next time we're gonna review this in wherever we have our next transmission.
Is there anyone else that want to add anything? Oh, the janitor had headphones.
Interesting.
That is actually an interesting thing. Maybe the headphones were preventing him from hearing the is.
That is a good point. I'm gonna just add it as a question for now, but we can explore that too. Is the janitor's headphones acting as a protection? Because the hiss, she's talked about the hiss as like something, like a sound, like hissing sound that burrows in her head.
Yeah.
If the headphones are canceling that out.
He was listening to music, obviously, because he was singing his head off.
Yeah. Yeah. You all made very, very good observations. And
Bye, everyone.
that was Rifna saying bye. And we're going to just do a quick credits on our transmission because it's important to acknowledge everyone involved with it. So we have these are the fonts we used for our credits, as well as other equipments. We have a bunch of music that we used while studying the blog and other sources. A lot of the art that we did for this, we did some of the art, and then Rifna did some of the art. So that's our and also the game is controlled by Remedy Entertainment, and the House of Dreams was written by Samantha, supposedly by Remedy. We're not sure. But yeah, these are the two links to those things if anyone wants to check them out. And that's it for our credits. Thank you for watching, whoever watched on the Oldest House side. And we're gonna be leaving now.